up, everybody? It's JT Sports and back you guys with another video. In this video, I'm here with my Buffalo Bills versus the New York Giants preview and prediction. For week 2, I'm going to be previewing this game and giving my prediction for who will win this game. Now, before I begin, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. I upload NFL videos and NFL content daily. Now, the Buffalo Bills are coming off of a very close win versus the New York Jets, which they came from behind. And I told everybody that the Buffalo Bills are going to end up being the New York Jets. I got that one right. And Josh Allen, I was really surprised that they were able to come back because New York had several opportunities. Well, the Jets had several opportunities to win that game last week. And the big reason why is because they really weren't able to really do that much when they were getting turnovers. I mean, Josh Allen was an ATM. He was an automatic turnover machine last week. He was turning the ball over left and right. And the fact that the Buffalo Bills were still able to win that game just goes to show you how legit that Buffalo Bills defense is. I've been telling everybody all offseason, I think the Buffalo Bills are going to end up having the best defense in the NFL by the end of the season. And I think that's a big reason why they can end up making a playoff push. And against this New York Jets offense that should look to be very good this year, I mean, it was really surprising. I mean, anytime your offense turns the ball over 4 times and your defense only allows the team to score less than 20 points, then that's how you know that you have a phenomenal defense. And going in against the New York Jets, a team that's not really terrifying on the offensive side of the ball, you feel good about this Buffalo Bills defense going into this game. Now, the New York Giants are coming off of a disappointing loss versus the Dallas Cowboys at Jerry's World. And I mean, the game just really got out of hand. And Eli Manning didn't play bad, although Daniel Jones did come in. It was later on in the game, like the last couple of minutes of the full quarter. I don't think Eli Manning played particularly bad. I think he played very solid as well. The offensive line didn't really play that bad neither. It's just that they just weren't able to move the ball down the field. And Dallas, I mean, they were exposing this New York Giants secondary. Man, I know this secondary wasn't that good coming into this game, but Jesus, man, Dak Prescott was looking like he was invincible out there, like he was God out there on the football field. I mean, he could do no wrong against this New York Giants secondary. It was big plays left and right, man. So in a game like this, when you have a gunslinger like a Josh Allen, you're going to be excited about this game if you're a Bills fan, man, because Josh Allen is a guy who likes to throw the ball deep. And I mean, you got John Brown. We saw how good of a weapon that John Brown is. He's one of the better deep threat wide receivers that we have in the NFL. And a game like this, you think that he's going to have a good chance of going off against a New York Giants secondary that struggled against the Dak Prescott passing attack and his Dallas Cowboys passing attack. So for the New York Giants, man, they need to be able to get Saquon Barkley the ball if they want to be able to win this game. And I mean, they're also going to have to take advantage of turnovers as well. So I mean, this game is going to be at New York. And I mean, Josh Allen, man, this guy has to limit the turnovers, man. I mean, this guy had like 3-4 turnovers, I believe. So I mean, that's not winning football right there. I mean, they got lucky that their defense was able to bail them out. But when you're playing against better teams and better offenses, having 4 turnovers is really going to kill you down the stretch. So Josh Allen still is a turnover machine. He still has a lot to work on, like we saw last week. But the fact that they were able to come back and win that game just puts a lot of confidence in his defense. So looking at my keys to victory, what each of these teams needs to be able to do to win this game. Touched on this earlier. The Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen need to limit the turnovers. I mean, this guy had turnovers left and right, man. He had like 3-4 turnovers. Anytime you turn the ball over that many times, that's not championship football. That's not playoff football. That's not what playoff teams do. And you're not going to win a lot of games in the NFL when the Buffalo Bills schedule starts getting really tough and end up playing some playoff teams like the Patriots and things like that. You cannot give teams extra possessions. Now, they do have a very good defense, but I mean, your defense is only going to be able to bail you out so many times. So Josh Allen needs to be able to take care of the ball and limit those turnovers, because there's not really any excuse why he should be having so many turnovers. I know he's young. I know he's still developing, but I mean, you still have to be able to take care of the football. Next thing the Buffalo Bills need to do is they need to be able to stop Saquon Barkley. And if they're and you can do this several ways. You can just stack the box, and hopefully with the defense that the Buffalo Bills have, you can stack the box and limit his rushing numbers, or you can just get out to a big lead early and force them to go away from Saquon Barkley as much and just force them to lean on the passing attack like we saw in the fourth quarter of that Dallas Cowboys game. I think Saquon Barkley only had like 100 and something rushing yards total last season in the fourth quarter, and a big reason for that was because the New York Giants were always trailing. So if you get up early on this New York Giants team, you take away what they want to do, which is give Saquon about 20, 25 touches a game. And when they're down by so many points, then they're not going to be able to get Saquon involved that much in the run game other than just throwing him the ball out of the backfield and things like that. So if you get up to a big lead early, that's another way to stop Saquon Barkley as well. Or you can just go ahead and try to stack the box, even though I don't really think that's the most successful thing to do, because we saw Dallas trying to stack the box as well, and they still weren't able to stop this freak of a guy or a freak of a man. So I mean, the best way to stop Saquon Barkley, in my opinion, is just to get out to a big lead and force the New York Giants just to try to come back into the game by passing the football. And the last thing they need to do for the Buffalo Bills and able to have a chance of winning this game is they need to take a lot of shots deep. Like we saw Dallas have a lot of big plays and the passing game for them last week, because this New York Giants secondary is less to be desired. I was very disappointed in DeAndre Baker's performance. I was disappointed in a lot of the players' performance on this New York Giants secondary. So if you're the Buffalo Bills and you're Josh Allen and you're the head coach, you're just telling Josh Allen, just go ahead and sling it deep, man, because you can't really trust their secondary. And John Brown, you have a deep threat in a guy like John Brown. He can end up having a very big game. He can end up going for almost 200 yards in this game. I'm expecting John Brown to have a very big performance. If you have John Brown on your fantasy team, I'm suggesting that you start him in this game right here, because the New York Giants secondary looks like he can't stop nobody. And that was a very big surprise to me that Dallas was able to just terrorize their secondary like that last week. So if you're the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen, I'm expecting a lot of big passing plays in this game. And if the Buffalo Bills want to win this game, they need to take advantage of that weak secondary that the New York Giants have back there. And for the Giants to win this game is you want to give Saquon Barkley the ball. You want to give him the ball, get him 20 to 25 touches, not only to make fantasy football owners happy, but to also keep Buffalo's offense off the field and keep their defense on the field. And they have a very talented defense. And whenever you have a very talented defense, you want to be able to run the football effectively and keep them on the field and tire them out and control that time possession. You also don't want to ask Eli to have to win the game, because Eli at this point in his career isn't the guy who can be like, hey Eli, go back there and win the game for us. He's not what he used to be now. He's not a guy who you can ask to win the game. So you need to get the ball to Saquon Barkley. And what we've seen Saquon Barkley like early on that Dallas Cowboys game, I mean, he was breaking off a couple of big runs. I think he had like a 56-yard run to kick the game off on, like, I believe it was like the first or second drive of the game. He had like a big run. He didn't score, but he came close to. So I mean, whenever you're able to get the ball in Saquon's hands, he does a lot of good things with the ball in his hands. And New York Giants need to be able to give him the ball a little bit more. And even when they're down, you still need to give Saquon Barkley the ball more, because this is a guy who can score at almost any point in the game despite what the situation is. So they need to be able to give Saquon Barkley the ball. They also need to force turnovers as well. Josh Allen, he's an aggressive quarterback and he's still developing when it comes to his decision making. So you're going to have a lot of opportunities to get interceptions and force turnovers in this game. And also when you force turnovers, then you give the ball back to the New York Giants offense. They can hand the ball off to Saquon Barkley some more, just run the football more, control that time possession, keep that clock going and tire out that defense. So they need to be able to force turnovers and able to win this game if you're the New York Giants. And I mean, if they're able to force turnovers and get extra possessions, and they also, if they're able to get good field position as well, that's going to help them as a lot as well. It's also going to get the home crowd into it as well, because if you're a New York Giants fan, you're basically not expecting this New York Giants team to make it to the playoffs if you're just being realistic. So I mean, if you're able to get this crowd into it, that could energize the whole entire team, make the whole entire team play better as well. So the team that I'm going with to win this game, I'm going with the Buffalo Bills to win this game. I just don't see the New York Giants having a lot of success against this Buffalo Bills defense and this secondary. I mean, although Josh Allen is still developing, I mean, this is a game that you're looking at the matchup, and it just favors the Buffalo Bills offense. When you look at what they want to do, you have Josh Allen, who has a big arm. He wants to throw the ball deep, and against a not-so-good secondary of the New York Giants, I made Dak Prescott look like he was a football god out there last week. You feel good about the Buffalo Bills' chances of being able to win this game. So I say Buffalo wins this game. 24-14 is my final score prediction for this game. So let me know who you guys think is going to win this game down in the comment section down below. Also make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more NFL videos and content. And thanks for watching.